What's up guys, Infernape here, and it's time for the third part of my series of my top 10 favourite Pokemon from each generation. Be sure to let me know down in the comments what your favourite Gen 3 Pokemon is and why. So without further ado, let's get into the video. At number 10, we have Sceptile. Now, if M&JTV was watching this video, which I highly doubt he would be, he would probably kill me for putting this at number 10 since that's his favourite Pokemon of all time. Sceptile is a really cool Pokemon. I think it's really slick and cool and it has a really nice design. I know yesterday David said it's not the greatest design of all, but I think it's kind of cool and I really like its Mega, but I don't really understand how making its tail into a forest or Christmas tree makes it a Dragon type. I don't understand why it's a Dragon type. I don't know how they turned it into a Dragon type, but I still think it's a really cool Pokemon. I like it. Its signature move, Leaf Blade. Fun facts for you: back in Gen 3, the starters actually had their own original signature move. Sceptile had Leaf Blade, Blaziken had Blaze Kick, and Swampert had Muddy Water. But those moves had been passed down to other Pokemon, but I still think it's really cool, and so is Sceptile. At number 9, we have Flygon. Now, I think Flygon is a really interesting Pokemon. You can't really tell what kind of type it is. If I had never seen Sceptile in my entire life and I had to guess what type it was, I would have gone with something like Ground or Bug. And it's not, it's a Ground and Dragon, and I think it's so cool. It's really monstrous in battle, especially if you do it in a playthrough. I know that I think Drake has quite a few of them, as well as Salamence. I think Flygon is an amazing Pokemon, very tough if you don't know how to battle against a Flygon. And I think Flygon is just such a badass Pokemon, and every time I see someone use a Flygon, I gain a little bit of respect for them. At number 8, we have Latios. Now picture this, I was watching in the semi-finals of the Sinnoh Pokemon League, and to my amazement, actually Sceptile managed to knock out our Darkrai, and I was actually quite surprised that our Darkrai went down. But then Tobias brought out his second Pokemon, which was his Latios. And I was so amazed by its design, I thought straight to myself, I wanted one. Just so I could use its signature move, Luster Purge. It just looks so cool. And when I got up to the point in my Heart Gold Soul Silver game, I actually found out that I could capture a Latios. And when I found that out, I wanted one really badly. And I took many attempts, but I finally caught it. And it was a monster when it came to battling. I love Latios, it's so cool, and I really like its Mega. And I actually used the Mega Latios in my first ever playthrough of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And I think it is an OP Pokemon, and I just love Latios much more than I do Latias. At number 7, we have Absol. Now, I wasn't too fond of Absol when I first found out about it. I just thought it was that Pokemon that was just there. My true love for Absol was mainly when Generation 6 came around, and that was when its Mega got introduced. And oh my god, is this Mega so cool. It's like an emo Absol with wings, and it is so cool. It can't fly with those wings, even though I think it should have become a dark flying type. But it doesn't even matter because Mega Absol just looks so cool. I love Absol, it's just so cool. I actually use an Absol so I can actually chain up levels with Chansey and Blissey in Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It's so cool, I love Absol, and I'm hoping to use it when I'm trying to either EV train or when I'm trying to hunt down shiny Pokemon. At number 6, we have Groudon. Now, usually when I choose a game, I usually go for I usually judge the box art legendary Pokemon, and I usually judge which one looks the coolest and which one looks the strongest. And between a Ruby and Sapphire and a Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I think Groudon looks way better than Kyogre. And in my own opinion, I think that Groudon is actually the stronger one out of Kyogre. It may have like a type advantage over Groudon, but I'm not judging it on that. I'm judging it on its primal reversion. Like when Kyogre uses its primal reversion form, it doesn't really gain much. All it does is make sure Fire-type moves don't work and has a major buff in Water-type attacks and makes sure Thunder hits every time. But when Groudon uses its primal reversion, it will make sure that its weakness to water doesn't do a thing. And all of its fire-type and moves and its Solar Beam will be even stronger than usual. And I just think that is OP as hell. I love Groudon, and I just think it's an OP Pokemon as well as a cool Pokemon. At number 5, we have Salamence. Now, Salamence is just such a cool and scary Pokemon at the same time. Now, just look at Salamence and tell me it doesn't look scary. Oh, you don't think it looks scary? Well then, screw you. I'm just joking. Like, Salamence is just such a cool Pokemon. Like, I feel like no matter who uses a Salamence, they actually are a very powerful trainer. Just ask Drake from the Elite Four or Pokemon Hunter J. Like, Salamence is just such a cool Pokemon, a very powerful Pokemon, and I think its Mega Form makes it even more powerful than it already is. If you want to make your own very powerful or Mega Salamence, I recommend giving it the Adamant Nature, and then giving it Dragon Dance, Dragon Claw, Return, and Fire Fang. Basically, what happens when it Mega evolves, it actually gets a new ability called Aerialate, which makes all normal type moves flying type moves, which will give it Stab. And if you use Return Max Happiness, that thing will pretty much destroy the entire competition. Even if you add one Dragon Dance, it will pretty much sweep. I have used this Mega Salamence before, and I cannot think of any other Pokemon that could take that thing down. At number 4, we have Metagross. Now, the first time I ever saw a Metagross was the shiny one that they introduced into Pokemon on Diamond and Pearl in the anime. And I just think it looks so OP as hell. And I wanted one for quite a while. And when I got my first one, I was very pleased. I love using a Metagross, and I think its true power unleashes when you Mega Evolve it. I feel like so many Pokemon are much better when you Mega Evolve them. The greatest Mega Metagross that I've ever used is with the Jolly Nature, and then you give it the moves Meteor Mash, Zen Headbutt, Earthquake, and Ice Punch. I've used this Mega Metagross in so many occasions in the Battle Maison, and it sweeps like hell. I love this Mega Metagross, and I cannot imagine a team without it. At number 3, we have Mawile. Now, I feel the same about Mawile as I do Absol. I just thought it used to be one of those Pokemon that was just there, and it didn't really have much purpose. But that turned around when I found out that Mega Mawile is super OP and competitive. A Mega Mawile with Adamant Nature and with Play Rough, Iron Head, Sucker Punch, and Swords Dance, and that thing will kill pretty much anything on your team. Fun fact, I have used this exact Mega Mawile against in so many other people, and it's in my ultimate team, and that thing is probably the ace of my team, but pretty close to my Snorlax. At number 2, we have Rayquaza. Now, Rayquaza's got to be one of my favourite legendary of all time. Just look at Rayquaza and tell me how awesome it is. I really love Rayquaza, but my true love for Rayquaza came through when I got an event shiny of Rayquaza that could Mega Evolve. I love this Rayquaza. I've used it so many times against a bunch of my friends, and no one's been able to beat it other than one time with David, aka Dr. Amnesia. And this Rayquaza is so OP as hell, I'm not surprised why it's in Uber on Smogon. I love Rayquaza, and I couldn't imagine the Pokemon universe without a Rayquaza in it. And finally, at number 1, we have Blaziken. Now, I'm sure some of you are sensing a pattern throughout the series, but after Gen 5, I'm sure you'll get weird predictions coming your way. The first time I ever saw a Blaziken was when May reunited with Ash and Brock in the Sinnoh series. And I loved the look of that Blaziken, and I really, really wanted one. And ever since I was a child, I hadn't come across a Blaziken since. Until when I was around like 13, and I actually defeated Red for a change. And I was able to obtain a Torchic and evolved it into a Blaziken, and it was OP as hell. But my true love for Blaziken came through when it got its Mega. And I am not surprised why this thing is an Uber, even with or without its Mega. Like, either form could be OP as hell with its speed boost ability. It is so cool, so badass, and I'm ashamed that I didn't get the event Torchic in X and Y, but when I got my Mega Blaziken in the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire, I forgave the Pokemon creators, and I love, love, love Blaziken. And there you have it, guys, my top 10 favourite Pokemon from Generation 3. Now, if you haven't guessed, next week I'm going to bring you my favourite video so far, my top 10 Generation 4 Pokemon. So I hope you look out for it. Be sure to comment down below on what your favourite Pokemon is from Generation 3. And if you're new, be sure to subscribe to my channel to be an Inferno today. Alright, that's all from me, so until the next time, this is Infernape, signing off. Bye!